I'm going to walk you through a few of the division problems we've been practicing. Parents will be happy to know that this is the traditional way, the way that we learned it when we were kids. I've got it color coded so the kids can think about where they need to write things as they go through the process. So I've got some letters over here. D stands for divide, M multiply, S subtract, C compare, the B and the D stands for bring down, and the R is repeat. The sentence we use to help us remember this is, does McDonald's serve does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers daily raw? So let's jump right in. We've got D for divide. So we start looking at this first number here, and we see the question I usually ask is, if I have 6 apples and there are 7 kids, how many apples can each person get? Well, in this case, they can't get any apples without cutting them, so 0. For our first time dividing, if we get a 0 here, we go straight to dividing again, and we look at the first 2 numbers, so 69. 69 divided by 7, 69 divided by 7 is 9. So when I divide, I put my number up here at the top, color-coded. Next, after we divide, then we have to multiply. And we take the number that we just put up at the top, and we multiply it by the divisor. So 9 times 7 is 63. After we multiply, then we subtract. Then we subtract. 9 minus 3 is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0, which brings us to compare. Excuse me. And when we compare, we're just making sure that after we subtract, that our difference is smaller than the divisor. If this number, after we subtract, is bigger than our divisor, we've done something wrong with our either dividing or multiplying. We need to double check on that. After we compare, we check to see if there's anything to bring down. In this case, there is. So I'm going to go ahead and bring down the 3. Then if I bring down, then I have to repeat. I have to go all the way back up to the top and start the process again. One thing that some of the students like to do is make this now a division symbol, because our dividing is going to happen down here. So 63 divided by 7 is 9. Done with dividing, so I'm moving on to multiplication. So I take the number that I just got after I divided, and I multiply it again times the divisor. 9 times 7 is 63. 63. And I get 63 subtract, oops, messed up with my colors there. So subtract 63, subtract 63 is 0. To compare, if we get a 0, it's always going to be less than this. Check to bring down. There's no more numbers to bring down. Since I have 0, there's no remainder. So the correct answer for this first problem is 99. For a second sample problem here, we're going to go with 6,326 divided by 5. And again, we go through our same process. Does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers daily raw? Divide, multiply, subtract, compare, bring down, repeat. So again, I start in the greatest place. If I have 6 apples, can 5 people get an apple? Yes, they can. If there's 6 apples and 5 people, each of them can get 1 apple. So when I divide, I put my answer up at the top. Then it's time to multiply. 1 times 5. 1 times 5 is 5. After I multiply, subtract. 6 subtract 5 is 1. Then I compare. 1 is less than 5. So it's time to bring down the next number. Since I brought down, I have to repeat the whole thing again. And This time I'm going to be dividing down here. Now some students even like to put a 5 here. I typically don't do that, but if they do, that's okay. So 13 divided by 5 is 2. There's two groups of 5 in 13. 2 times 5 is 10. And I subtract 13 subtract 10. So 3 minus 0 is 3. 1 subtract 1 is 0. And then I compare. My answer is less than 5, so we're okay to continue on. And after that, I have to bring down. So I'm going to bring down the 2. And I have 32. Since I brought down, I have to repeat all the way back up here to the top. 32 divided by 5 is 6. Then I multiply. 6 times 5 is 30. I'm running out of space here. 32 subtract 30. Oops, I messed up my color again. Subtract. 32 subtract 30. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0. Some students do this, some don't. It doesn't really matter. There we go. That's a little bit better. So after I subtract, I have to compare, make sure it's okay. 2 is less than 5. Since, and then I look up here to bring down. I can bring down the 6. Ooh, that's a curvy line. So now I have 26. Since I brought down, I have to repeat all the way back up to the top. 26 divided by 5 is 5. Then I multiply. 5 times 5 is 25. Then I subtract. 26 subtract 25 is 1. I compare. 1 is less than 5, so that's okay. There is no more numbers to bring down. So I end with a remainder of 1. So 6,326 divided by 5 equals 1,265, remainder 1. If you have any questions, let me know, and hopefully this is helpful.